Hello, it's me back again, painting that on there, hopefully. Apologies for the darkness, but it's a good light for the painting. I've just been the last 40 minutes, I'd say, looking for a t-shirt. It's one of those, they're heading out tonight, the girls, and you know, one of those kind of, anyway, we didn't find it. I've been through every single item in the house, I think, and it didn't show up, so. But I kind of just let it go now. And it's all right. Oh, I texted Lily to see if she knew where it was. And just see if she's got an answer. No. Okay, so back to the painting. And a bit of sanity. I suppose a good idea would be to do this stamen now at some point. Yeah, I think I'll do them next. And it looks to me like they could be done with maybe the burnt umber and a bit of cadmium red mixed together. Burnt sienna is really the colour, but I don't have that on my palette just now. And actually I think it's good to be able to vary the warmth of it anyway, because some of these are very warm. Some of those little stameny things, and some are quite a bit darker. So I'm actually probably going to end up using ultramarine blue in there as well for some of them. Like this one has got some ultramarine blue and burnt umber mostly. A little bit of the cadmium red. I can use the cadmium red as a way of lightening them up later maybe. Okay, so just trying my best to find the position of them. They're actually kind of a helpful thing to knit it together in a way. Like, it's allowing me to see where things can be adjusted in the petals as well a bit. For example, that needs to be blue there to the left of that stamen. I'm calling them stamen, I don't know what they are. I think every time I paint lilies I talk about this, that I'm not sure of the correct term. But does it matter? I don't think so. This needs to be a bit lower. And then, yeah, so that petal will also be down there a bit. And then there's one that's kind of here and curling down. Down like that more. That brush was seriously wet. It wasn't just damp, it was dripping wet. Okay, so we leave those ones there, and then over here there are the darker ones again that are coming out. Oh, where are they coming out from now? Well, this really is the edge of that petal. And then there's the other one that goes, yeah, down like that. And then from there are these little extending things. And that might be a little bit steeper actually, that one. Because that's where, I think that's where the stain, yeah. The little brown thing. And then there's a couple on top of each other here. And then there's one further out. Kind of level with that gap there. And then there's one in the distance that separates the two a little bit. It sits just behind them. And this one sits just behind that. Okay, so that's them. And I'm going to use some of this dark colour with a bit of blue in it. Because I noticed that this area here is quite dark. Some of it anyway. Not quite so colourful as other places. And down here too. I'm kind of hoping that the white is going to help me a lot too when I put the white in between things that represents the tabletop. This tablecloth is one that I bought before Christmas. I've just changed it over yesterday. It's quite nice having a bit of a change, isn't it? For Christmas we had a starry velvety tablecloth. It was actually Erin's duvet cover. What am I doing there now? Yeah, okay, so that's... So that's there. Then there's one here. There's a petal kind of here. And then this one extends over further, actually. Yeah, this needs to extend over a bit further, that one. That's fine. And then what happens here is that it's there's a kind of a dark colour nestling in here. That becomes this curve. And this is quite dark back here too. I'm not so inclined to obliterate all of the edges that have been wiped away, because I kind of like the feel of the wiped away edges too. But I think it does help to introduce some of the darker tones to accentuate then the light. No, it's darker down here as well, where it meets the front of that. And then darker at the front a little bit there too. Okay. I'm kind of bringing the same energy to this as I did trying to find that t-shirt. This kind of slight speediness and focus. I was so sure I'd find it. I don't like it when things beat me, you know. But I've still got time. I checked with Lily and she'll be back soon, so she might be able to find it. Erin's gone to her friend's house and her friend was going to borrow this top, you see. I mean, she's very good about it, really. She's not being all... I think I would have been fairly head up. But she said it's okay, but if I can find it before they head out, to take it over. Because I'm going to be picking them up anyway, dropping them to the... They're going to Bongo's Bingo tonight. And I've never been, so I can't explain it, but it sounds like fun. A bit riotous, I'd say. But at least they're kind of contained in one space for the night. And she's with her pals. What am I doing there now? I'm just going to focus on something. Well, actually, I just noticed there's a thing I wanted to shift here, wasn't there? I was going to make that come over a bit further, that blue, and it was going to kind of sit underneath that stameny thing. And that petal dropped down a bit more. Yeah, it's okay. Okay. And actually I might even use that colour here. Still not sure what I'm going to get up to myself. I think I'll probably just go for a walk with my pal. Because that lady, the canine one with the 4 legs, needs a walk. And it'd be nice to have a chat with him. And then I will see what's on the telly maybe. I've got a few things I'm kind of half into watching. And I've also got some really good books. And I was thinking of phoning a friend of mine to come and stay, but actually, I think I'm happy enough, you know, with a low-key thing. I wanted to clear out under my bed as well. It's the kind of thing you do at New Year, isn't it? It's really dusty under there. You never know what I'd find. And maybe I'll be available in case the guards need a lift home too. Let's see. That's the jug now. I'm making it very kind of muted. It's got a beautiful pattern on it, but I'm not focusing on that at all. I'm just looking at the moment at the tone of it in relation to the petals that are surrounding there. And I think this petal needs to be given a new position, just moved slightly into the other one. Like that, I think. So it's ever so slightly higher too when it extends out here. I think that's okay. Alright. I might just start putting some of the light on. I put out some white paint here. And yeah, why not? Sometimes you just kind of need to try a thing, don't you? And I like to look for shortcuts, for ways of doing things. It's awkward now over there. Ways of doing things that are less labour intensive, but more powerful and potent for it. Do you know that kind of way? I suppose it's a variation on the theme of work, smarter, not harder. I'm not going to explain because I don't think I can. I know what I meant. That's the edge of the jug there. And then over here there's also some of that white background emphasising the curl of the petal. There. And also those little stems that come down to meet the little brown things. You wouldn't be here for the botanical terms, you wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know, but actually that petal seems to me to curve out a little bit more there. Okay. And then it meets the inside of it. Something like that. And that's an example of an edge that I kind of like, so maybe I'll leave that alone for now, rather than paint the negative space of the white tablecloth through that. But I possibly could do a few more bits and pieces here. I mean, it might be helpful for me to have something of those stems drawn in before trying to carve in between them with the white. Since I put out a lot of white as well, you'd be thinking I was painting the whole tablecloth, which I'm not. Try and find some of the dappled little negative spaces between these dancing things. And I can deepen the tone of them later if that helps. And I think the tabletop is about there. And then it's darkness beyond. I'm sure why don't I go over now to this side and, jeepers, that's a big lump of white. This side of the jug and find what's happening with, that's not what's happening. Find what's happening with this petal here. So it meets the white tablecloth here, like that, in that direction, and then goes vertically down for a while before coming back on itself, and then up. And then in here, there's a little shape like that, I think. Like that. Maybe it drops down a bit there more. And I'm kind of coming in now close to where the jug is, but the jug itself is almost as white and light as the tablecloth is here, as far as I'm aware. So it's not like there's going to be any huge shift in tone, really, here. You know, that area is all a bit nondescript because I'm not closing one eye to try and figure it all out. At the moment, anyway. Now I'm going to see if I can use some of that blue mixed with the white to make the beautiful bright colour that is the light on the flowers. Don't know if this would be better. I should have shaken it first. This is high flow acrylic and it's got a lovely brightness to it, which I think might be more what I'm after. Let's see now. Yeah, it's good enough. I think it's good enough. It'll do for some of it anyway, some of the brighter bits. And some of this bluish colour is in here as well. In the petal that's kind of more subdued in the background. I'll just mix a couple of blues together to make that. This colour it is back there. Yeah, it kind of meets that one like that. This is really bright though. Let's see what I can do. There's a lovely brightness to the edge of the petal here. So maybe using the thick paint might help to explain its brightness. I often find that the thicker paint is quite good for describing the light. And it'll be over here as well. That same brightness. And even here. Yeah, and here too. It's okay. There's quite a lot of dark in here. But a little bit more of the light where I see it. And here as well. There's another kind of a stamen that's more burnt sienna sticking up at the back there. I haven't changed the colour on my brush, I'm just layering the cadmium over it, which is probably not to be recommended, but I'm kind of wanting to explain it while I see it there, that little curve, the stamen there. And there's another one, quite bright, excuse me, yeah, about here. It's brighter than that, but I can sort it later. And then there's one there too. And another one darker back there. What I was saying wasn't to be recommended was actually using the same brush, you know, to explain the light without washing it. So look at it now, this looks to me to be a bit too white there. if this would be good colour. And there's hardly any of it left, this fluorescent pink. And anyway, I think it's not really the colour I'm after, unless maybe for the stamen. I'll leave it for now. The next thing I had thought to do was to maybe, to make a dark colour with the burnt umber and the ultramarine blue, almost like a black really, as a way of explaining those bits that are really dark in the negative spaces. So I've already explained the really bright bits in the negative spaces, and now I'm aiming to do I don't think that's so high up actually. Now I'm aiming to do those bits that are dark. Really, I could start with the bits that are back here. Yeah, so this bit here. Rather than in the flowers, I could start with the negative space of the background, where it's carved out by the flowers that are very much in the light, most of them. Beautifully catching the light. There's another little pink petal there. Might as well paint it in as I see it. Just subdue it a bit with the turquoise. Sits behind there. That's fine. So I've still got the dark on my brush now. And where else could I use that? I think actually I could re-emphasize the darks here. Just where they curl under, it's a bit darker. Okay, and then I'll go up here then and try and see if I can find what else is dark in here. As well as the negative spaces, there are some bits of the vegetation that are significantly darker than others. So I'll try not to differentiate too much between what's way in the background and what's dark in the foreground, because I think it all kind of makes sense without me having to differentiate. Oh, you know what, now I'm going to answer that. Excuse me. I'll get back to you for another one shortly.